पिछली बार ऐसा बहुत सीधा खड़ा
We are live. We are live.
We are live.
आप लोग इतने लैपटॉप लेके क्यों आए हो? मैं समझ में नहीं आ रहा
लैपटॉप का जमाना है अभी लैपटॉप सस्ता होने वाला है, आपको मालूम है ना?
है। क्यों?
जीएसटी की वजह से.
Anyways.
Hello, welcome back
What a day.
to a rainy Monday.
Rainy Monday, but what a day to be an Indian stock market investor.
It's given up 100 points from the top actually.
Yeah.
उतना कुछ नहीं हो रहा.
Bulls, bears with reason.
And banter ये कर रहे हैं.
चलो ठीक.
But what's your take, Niraj? Weekend, long weekend, too many things.
I've written a small piece on this.
I've also written a small piece on this.
I've written, will the markets rally further?
I've written what will push the market further.
Acha, I thought Sajeet will say I've written why the market will not go further.
No, it's two-way actually.
So here's some interesting data in case.
So let's start with one by one. Putin, Trump. What was your takeaway from that?
Unexpected lines. Right?
I think Putin got much more than what Trump wanted, right? In that sense, he got the legitimacy here in terms of what he's done. And now he's in a place, or he's been cornered to a place where everything depends upon European Union and Zelensky to agree upon. If that doesn't happen, then he doesn't know what to do, because he can't push tariff into China, because that's not. And Putin came and gave his terms very clearly, even though you would have seen all those kind of power play happening at Alaska, but he has given his terms very clearly that I want X, Y, Z. I want the causes to be addressed, why it happened, and I want assurances from European Union, US, and Zelensky that it will not happen in the future. Plus, he's not willing to give the land back actually. So now everything comes into the Monday meeting between Zelensky, European Union, and Trump. Do you think Zelensky will relent? Because he has made it very clear that his constitution does not allow giving away of land.
Difficult to say. I think wait and watch. Why preempt something which is very, very difficult to predict?
But and he's not looking at a ceasefire. He's looking at a long term. So everyone is talking about, we don't want to do a piecemeal kind of thing. We want once and for all kind of thing. That's a consensus, broad consensus.
Yeah.
But whether or not it happens, it's all about how Zelensky is going to play his cards.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Agree.
Simple.
Agree.
But it's not going to have an bearing on the global markets in some way.
As well, I think for our markets, what is more important is what India did.
Yeah.
I mean, the valuations have come off relatively to EMs. Not, I think, not because of the fact. I mean, yes, that the global trade issue had some stuff, but I think it's also got to do a lot with the fact that Indian growth was suffering, and I think this GST conversation kind of tackles that issue, the growth issue, which is an important thing.
So I was over the weekend. I was doing some numbers based on the Q1 numbers which came out, right? And I was comparing it with the EPS growth which we were talking about, 11-12%, which everyone is penciling before the quarter. So based on the annualized EPS growth, we are now growing at 9%. Okay, we were around 11.5 or so at the beginning of the quarter in March of 2024, 25. Sorry, for FY26 I'm talking about. So there's a growth tapering which has happened, 2.5% in terms of EPS alone.
Okay.
And at 1100 rupees EPS, it comes to around 20 times forward earnings for the Nifty, which is there. And if you're looking at Nifty going to 27,000 or so, 500 or something, we're looking at 25 times. So the question is, what is going to drive or justify that rally, which is 11% from Thursday's close? The answer is that it has to be earnings. There is no other way out, right? And I think GST, what the Prime Minister announced, could help in some way in terms of only the consumption basket going up, but not others. That's the whole issue.
Is that such a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing, but it will not justify the valuation, because we again come back to the same conundrum that valuations are high and earnings are not matching to the valuation. So we'll go, even if we go up another 5 to 10% higher, every likelihood that we will come back because valuation, the earnings are not backing them now.
Motilal का note है आज 22 times is not that bad a valuation.
22 times भी एवरेज से तो ज्यादा ही है.
कौन सा एवरेज? लास्ट 10 साल बड़े, लास्ट 5 साल से कम है. Last 5 year average is 24 times. We are 22 times.
But you still, you yourself said that India has underperformed the emerging markets.
Yes, we have. So my only point is, if because that has happened, because of this whole tariff issue, and growth was suffering. Now they attack growth, or attempting to attack growth, which is actually a good sign. RBI ने measures किए हैं, ये हुआ है. अभी
So there are three measures which happened, right? One, tax incentive, which added 1 lakh crore to income of people. The second one being rate cuts, which reduce the EMIs for people. The third one is going to be a GST. Now GST may, I just did a basic concept thing based on what our colleague Shrimi has put out, that the 12% will be merged to 5 and 28 to 80. And if you look at an average household consumption basket, 15 to 20,000 rupees per month, even we assume that they say 5% of that, you're talking about 1,000 to 1,500 rupees per month kind of savings for them per month. That's comes to around 12 to 18,000 rupees per annum for that household of savings which is there. Now there are around 30 crore households. Officially 29.6 crore households, 30 crore households. We're looking at about almost 3 lakh crores of incentive which is coming into the system. The question is how much of that is going to be invested to increase the consumption basket. That is the question.
But where else would it go?
Financial instruments. Look at how the last 3 months mutual fund SIPs are going up.
But
where is the money coming from?
Sorry, but मेरे हिसाब से ये conversation secondary है. Primary ये है. ये GST cuts जो आए हैं, उसके वजह से ये जो sectors हैं which are rallying today, उनको फायदा होगा कि नहीं?
वो है.
Let's try and talk about
it. Yeah. So let's start with auto.
I think one of the biggest things in quarter one, which I think Bajaj also had said, that the rent has increased so much in urban India that that's why differing purchases of something like a two-wheeler also. Now with this logic of 18,000, I think we're going to see the biggest beneficiary is going to be two-wheelers. And you're seeing that reaction on Hero, we're going to see, and especially on Hero, like 8 to 9% move on Hero after a very, very long time. Something like Maruti is up 8% right now. And they had called it.
Hyundai is up 8%.
Yeah, and all those who are visible in that small car and that compact SUV space, they are going to be big beneficiaries of this. You're seeing that move on Bajaj also. TVS also have, Eicher is also have. Eicher operates in the premium space, but unko bhi that market is rewarding that these guys will get benefited because they have the lower CC model now. So I feel like, and I think in the morning, I think we had Pankaj Munarka, we had Dimsha Irani, both said that, consumption has been very depressed over the last 2 years. So it's that appetite is there to spend now. And with 18-20,000 more now, they're already covering the rent. It has to come to consumption spending is what I feel. And that is visible in what's happening with, it's visible in consumer discretionary. EMS is one of the biggest ones today because of the ECs, because of the TVs aspect. And
Sir, tell me, how does it work? We were debating about this, right? Q2, it may not be that much. Q3, Q2 will be an impact.
Yeah,
for sure. Means if I'm going to supposed to buy a car, say in Ganpati or maybe before Dashera, I will say I'll wait for the GST cut to happen for me to buy the car because the difference is 70,000 to a lakh for a lower end to 10 lakh, 11 lakh car, right? That is the difference. And I will say that ठीक है 1 लाख बचाऊंगा मैं खरीदूंगा पर मैं सितंबर एंड में खरीदूंगा जाके.
नहीं मैं पता ऐसे क्यों नहीं होता है. मतलब मुझे लग रहा है कि
आपको लगता है 1 लाख कम है.
नहीं ये 70,000 50,000 60,000 जितना भी कम होता है, right? Companies tend to, if in a lean sale period, ये festive is big for companies, right? Companies will say कि boss आप आओ, we'll take a small hit on the margins, but we will not let numbers go down. हम आपको 25-30 हजार का डिस्काउंट दे देते हैं और हम आपको 20-25 हजार रुपए की एक्सेसरीज दे देंगे जो पहले नहीं आती थी या नहीं आती हैं, and आप ये कर लो. They will make it happen.
Yes,
I bought my car.
I'm giving you an example, live example.
The best discount period.
Okay, I'll give you a live example of mine. My parents had an old Hyundai Santro car, which is a 15-plus-year-old car. They just sold it off because they wanted to replace it by another small affordable car. Now they're not going to buy now. They think that ये सब डिस्काउंट होने के बाद मारुति, बाय द वे, मारुति डज नॉट गिव सो मच ऑफ डिस्काउंट, 20-25 हज़ार से ज्यादा डिस्काउंट नहीं देता है, वो ऑलरेडी दे दिया है उसने, उसके बाद भी ये
Sajeet, my limited point is for people. If your parents, for example, I'm laying a bet on it. If your parents go to the store saying कि हमें गाड़ी देखनी है, and then they say कि अच्छा no, we'll wait for a month and a half to do this, the showroom will tell them कि अच्छा सर आपको तभी कितना डिस्काउंट मिलेगा, आपको 50,000 रुपया बचेगा, हम आपको 45,000 का तो अभी कर रहे हैं, ये मिल मिला के आप कर लो. I'm laying a bet on it because I bought a car like that.
I'm trying to say you are not the you are the 20-35 lakh wala
that's not the point. I'm saying that the discounts in a lean period, companies tend to give big discounts.
Yeah.
I get that what you're saying, but price point also matters.
Any price point, my friend.
It doesn't.
So my question are these discounts have actually started to come off from quarter 4. They've come off a little bit in quarter 1. So if they have to give discounts in one quarter,
they'll give it.
Just sustain margin, they might do it.
Sustain volumes.
Sustain volume, sustain that kind of market share also. Because like for
I'm not certain. Means I get what he's trying to say कि अच्छा मैं 50,000 यहाँ पर कम कर रहे, मैं 50,000 का बोलूँ आपको accessories दूंगा. Simple as that. But I don't think that
if I'm a car company and sorry, if I'm a car company और मुझे पता है कि GST कम हो रही है, वो पीरियड में मैं डिस्काउंट 0 कर दूंगा. तो मुझे पता है कि कस्टमर नेचुरली आने वाला है because the customer believes कि 10 का GST कम हो गया, मेरा फायदा अभी मैं जा रहा हूँ. The company will prepone the discounts that it was supposed to give
in Q3,
in Q2.
Yeah.
No, what I'm trying to tell you is that company is not going to bring down the prices of the car.
The discounts.
I'm trying to say that for a person who's buying the thing, you may make this discount 0 at 25,000 रुपए कम करोगे, पर on a 7.5 or 8 lakh car, if you're able to get 70 to 80,000 as a differential, वो 25,000 अगर कम भी होगा, 50,000 का मेरा फायदा है. Simple as that.
अरे भाई,
in smaller towns it works like
about this. My limited point is जितना डिस्काउंट आ रहा है, मोटा मोटी डिस्काउंट प्लस जितना जीएसटी में प्राइस डिडक्शन हो रहा है, मेरे हिसाब से कंपनी डिस्काउंट प्लस एक्सेसरीज प्लस मिला के एक्सटेंडेड वारंटी मिला के कर देगी. कंपनी बोले बस 2 साल की जगह पे 2 साल का एक्सटेंडेड वारंटी और ले लो, which is worth about 25,000, and then you will say अच्छा चलो खत्म कर.
ऐसे होता है.
I'm telling you होता है.
I feel होता है. And the other thing is discounts, if they were planning in quarter 3 largely, that will come to quarter 2 and Q3 में they will reduce the discounts because they know कि अगर कोई बंदा रुका था Q2 में, वो Q3 में पक्का गाड़ी खरीदेगा. जो बंदा डिले कर रहा है अपना परचेस फॉर GST, he will not get that kind of discount which he might get in quarter 2. And people are very smart enough to check in both quarter 2 and quarter 3. वो quarter 2 में जाएंगे शोरूम में, वो देखेंगे कि इतना डिस्काउंट है, वो लेंगे, कोई चॉइस ही नहीं. Especially in small cars because the prices have gone up so much. We've seen the buyer being away for last 6 years.
Yes.
They have to come back at some point of time, and if not now, when? With RBI, with the rate reduction.
So you think
with the income tax reduction.
that August September numbers should show a higher number for small cars? That's what you're saying.
I'm saying it will not. My view is it will not show a dramatic drop because people are postponing demand.
Yeah.
I think it will be steady.
I think in this year, Abhidhar, like I was just looking at the numbers for FY25 for domestic sales from Maruti, it's 51% small cars, Baleno, Ignis, Desire, Swift, all of that. Even if they are able to maintain the 3 to 5% growth which they've done in quarter 1, they've done marginal 8. The interesting part in quarter 1 was that there was growth in smaller cars. SUV actually fell in quarter 1 for Maruti.
Play acting करें. आप कस्टमर हो, मैं शोरूम हूँ, जरा 2 मिनट्स आओ मेरे पास, मुझे पास इंक्वायरी करो.
यस सर, मुझे खरीदनी है मारुति डिजायर.
सर आप कितने टाइम से सोच रहे थे? 6 महीने से?
6 महीने से सोच रहा था सर.
तो आप अभी क्यों नहीं लेना चाहते?
सर अभी GST Q3 में कम होने वाला है.
सर आपकी गाड़ी की वैल्यू 10 लाख रुपए है. आप GST में वो जो इतना कम होएगा, रिडक्शन होएगा, वो होता है
1 लाख.
मोटा मोटी 1 लाख नहीं होता है, कम होता है.
क्यों डिजायर खरीद रहे हैं?
अरे हाँ, 1 लाख नहीं हुए.
डिजायर कितने की आती है
सर?
स्टार्टिंग 8-9.
तो 10-9 साल.
That is inclusive of GST भाई. 9 लाख रुपए.
9 लाख
इंक्लूसिव ऑफ GST. आप
9 लाख
बड़ा कर रहे हो.
हाँ ठीक है.
अरे रुको ना, आप तो व्यूअर हो, आप व्यू करो. हाँ, सिंपल आपका 10,500 रुपए बचता है ना सर.
यस सर.
मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ सर, आपने अगर 6-9 महीने से रुके हो आप और 2 क्वार्टर क्यों रुक रहे हो? भाभी जी को खुश करो. आपको जहाँ पे 60,000 रुपए हो रहे थे ना, मैं आपको 30,000 रुपए अभी डिस्काउंट दे देता हूँ. आपको जो वारंटी मिलती है गाड़ी के साथ स्टैंडर्ड, वो 2 साल की मिलती है. मैं आपको 2 साल का एक्सटेंडेड वारंटी देता हूँ, उसका कुछ 22,000 रुपए हो जाता है, तो 50,000 हो गया. और सर कर लो, मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, मैं आपको एक काम करते हैं 10-15 लाख 10-15 हजार रुपए की एक्सेसरी भी दे देता हूँ, तो मैं आपको 7,500 रुपए तो वहां पे कवर कर रहा हूँ, आपका मोटा मोटी 5,000 रुपए बचा है सर, उसके लिए क्या भाभी जी को काम वो कर रहे हो।
अच्छा
गणपति जी का बर्थडे आ रहा है, आप ले लो गाड़ी होगी सर।
इधर उधर जाने में भी नई गाड़ी अच्छी लगेगी।
अच्छी लगेगी,
हाँ,
हाँ,
बहुत अच्छी लगेगी सर।
Done, sir. Signed.
दिस इज व्हाट विल हैपन।
this is not going to happen. That's what exactly I'm going to tell you.
चलो लेट्स सी, माय डिबेट ओवर
अच्छा, इसके अलावा और कौन कौन से सेक्टर है?
एसी एंड ईएमएस।
EMS I feel जो इतना धक्का लगा था बेचारे PG Electroplast for last quarter, and like, everybody was like the most bearish. I think I also came and said it might take a couple of quarters. It's still going to, but it's just that the bearish undertone जो इंडस्ट्री में आ रहा था वो शायद अभी
अब एसी जल्दी खरीदने शुरू करेंगे, बारिश मौसम शुरू हो गई है, तो अगले साल के लिए अभी से खरीद लो।
Q3 में से we should see something at
नहीं,
least.
somebody made a point यार कि अक्टूबर इज एक्चुअली अ वेरी हॉट मंथ।
Yeah, and
अक्टूबर में बाई होती है एसी की।
and होती है, and that's what EPAC and that's what Amber says. So the worry which we had and which we've spoken about is कि ये दूसरे लोग पे impact करेगा PG का performance की higher inventory. They had said कि it in quarter 1 they came before PG and they said कि नहीं हमें नहीं करेगा। Q2 में RFQs आते हैं, Q3 से we'll start that and Q4 will be big again for us similar to last year because inventory has started to it's inched up for certain players. For certain players it's not that much because Q1 was again a very lean period. So I feel like at least industry तो बच गई basically, and we're seeing that in
मतलब पूरी
Blue
बच
Star,
गई या
थोड़ी तो बच
जो
गई है
जो
sir.
जो ड्रास्टिक गाइडेंस कट किया था पीजी ने, राइट? They may have to up the guidance a little bit, right? That's
I
what.
think they might just say कि we're going to see like inventory correction. See what I know
क्या
they
30 से 10% कुछ किया था ना, right?
growth
हाँ,
growth they've lowered.
हाँ.
I think the larger problem is the market कि इतना सारा inventory आप लेके बैठे हो 2-3 quarter का अभी से ही पूरा cash flow पे आपने pressure डाल दिया and growth नहीं है. Even if they are able to maintain what they did somewhat last year, the base is also very high. FY25 as a year was very strong for them. Even if they're able to give some commentary in Q2, which they will, because they've raised QIP money at 700, they have to tell the investors something that they've done well in this quarter, which they will, because they are at the scale now. But of course, compared to peers like Amber and EPAC who have been able to better manage this, I think there is where the relative part comes. But for whoever has entered PG and after that correction is of course laughing at us right now. But yes.
और कुछ कौन सा सेक्टर है सर?
Cement
पे भी
That's what we means. If it comes from 28 to 18, it's going to be very good actually for construction.
Very good for the companies. Companies will not pass on.
Why will they not pass on?
Why would they pass on?
Why? There's a regulation in GST. Cut in GST has to be passed on. Otherwise, you will be profiteering के अंदर you will be caught.
तो मैं पास ऑन कर दूंगा, बाद में गुड डिमांड को लेते हुए चलते हुए 2 क्वार्टर में भाव बढ़ा दूंगा।
तुमको लगता है भाव बढ़ाना इतना आसान है?
जीएसटी में अगर भाव घट गया तो बाद में भाव बढ़ा तो सकता हूँ ना।
अरे बाबा वही तो मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको।
साउथ इंडिया में कंपनीज हैव रियली पास्ड ऑन प्राइस हाइक्स।
last financial year, companies passed on the price hikes and then they have to roll it back gradually every
400 रुपए का भाव है,
but
जीएसटी कटता है,
last quarter में
350 कर रहा हूँ, वापस 400 तो कर सकता हूँ ना, मैं वो बोल रहा हूँ।
I don't know वो इतना आसान है कि नहीं? That's what I'm trying to say.
My thing is कि largely we started to see prices inch up in South India.
Yeah, that's 8-10%. And they're holding on actually.
Yeah, and they're holding on. I'm saying even if those prices stay there and the benefit is coming, the company can absorb the whole benefit. Some might get passed on, but some they'll still retain. Because itne, like especially players like South India, 10 years से prices are not going anywhere. कुछ तो वो लोग भी थोड़ा मलाई खाएंगे इस चीज का भी. But those 3 sectors like
and
really.
Price hikes have been absorbed.
Yeah, it has been absorbed, especially in South India because it's sustained. For 10 years, you've been there away from North India ka pricing by at least 10, 20, 30 percent. I think at some point in time, so you have to get that benefit from there. Players like Ramco should benefit from that, but the operational efficiency is going to be something that viewers should watch out for.
Yeah. और बताइए सजीत।
I think this is consumption is something which FMCG companies are going to have a good second quarter, second half. Let me put it this way. And defense is something which is now emerging. You saw the Prime Minister talking about Sudarshan Chakra, which is basically nothing but the air defense system that they're talking about. BEL is going to benefit, BDL is going to benefit, L&T is going to benefit because of that. And there's a whole host of other Indian companies which are working on it, which is so Project Kusha, which is the air defense system which they're talking about, and they're talking about putting it for trials at the end of this year and early next year is something which is going to be a big game changer.
Yeah.
इसके अलावा I think there are which are the other sectors which
I think one of the biggest one and very
pharma is going to
interesting.
be medicines are going to be cheaper in that sense.
So I saw one sales note, by the way, before we take questions, which said that the domestic CDMO companies could be negatively impacted
Why is that?
because they were setting up capacity in Jammu and Kashmir, and the government was giving them GST exemption.
Yeah.
अभी अगर GST कम हो गया तो वो जो बेनिफिट था जो उसका
Yeah.
वो कम हो जाता है तो इफेक्ट the positive sentiment around that benefit
I think even there, see, आपका 28% था नहीं 18 टका था कितना था 18 टका था राइट 18 से आप 12 में 12 में आ जाएंगे या 12 तो है नहीं या 18 से या तो आप 28 में जाएंगे या फिर 5 में आएंगे
And it seems unlikely कि वो ऊपर जाएगा.
ऊपर नहीं जाएगा
I think
नीचे
it'll be
5 में
downward.
आएगा तो वहां पर भी 2.5% के लिए आप वो कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट करेंगे.
Yeah.
I don't know. Means there are still incentives which are available in such for some
CDMOs who are setting up capacities in Jammu. I think those are the ones.
जो बड्डी के ऊपर आप ऊपर जाके वो
जम्मू बड्डी तो HP होगा.
हाँ उसके ऊपर जाके आप ऊपर और ऊपर जा रहे हैं. JN के specifically. But they will do it ना. Means connectivity is now very.
But GST benefit नहीं है तो मुझे वहाँ पर डालने की कोई जरूरत
नहीं. पर वहाँ पर वैसे भी तुमको स्टेट बेनिफिट दे रहा था ना. स्टेट GST का आ रहा था सेंट्रल का नहीं आ रहा था. So half GST मिला था क्योंकि state was giving that benefit across to the thing. So it's only 50% of the benefit which is.
No, the center was incentivizing ताकि लोग जम्मू एंड कश्मीर.
Center इसलिए कर रहा था क्योंकि it's a union territory, so under center. But the part which is going to get it is the state GST portion, which is there, which normally every state gives. Okay, we will going to reimburse you for next 5 years the state GST that way. But many of them will be exporting, right? In that sense.
नहीं ये मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ
Domestic one.
The domestic ones will have a mistake.
I think one other interesting one was banks because of consumption.
And S&P today I think
the
rating upgrade for Indian, but banks are not reacting much. But there is a little bit of short covering which is there in Nifty bank actually. Yeah. So which is.
I think it's similar with what viewers you need to put in the likes so that we can take the questions.
Yeah,
likes.
yeah.
Please likes. And then we can take questions.
Yes.
But likes
that's
are.
what we're seeing in EMS also, like the covering, the short covering on these stocks largely because the people who would have gone short after PG. I think we're seeing that as well, but I think that's what the larger point was made as well in the morning.
बाकी सब खुश है मोदी जी की स्पीच से. Short sellers are crying right now.
Yeah, crying.
Like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah. वैसे मैं सुना सुबह आपने बोला था आपने कॉल किया था कि गणपति के पहले कुछ होगा. आपने ये शो पे कॉल किया था.
ये शो पे दिया.
ये कॉल पे किया.
नहीं ऑन एयर वहाँ टीवी पे भी किया था. बोलो अभी ये भाई साहब दिया. No, you have to stay, bhai. You have to stay. You are not going anywhere.
हाँ तुम.
So I've been pushed to crash this party. So.
Yes.
Who pushed you, by the way?
I don't understand. पर मुझे.
And myself.
तो मुझे ये बताइए कि
बैंक doesn't have a mic. And the
नहीं है ना.
But I'm going to use. I've been told to use and share.
No, पर ये तो मुझे बताओ कि why banks are not reacting to the S&P upgrade.
Are not reacting.
Not reacting much.
They have reacted. Yeah, morning में initial reaction तो था. Financial
को भी था थोड़ा.
Thursday को तो flat market बंद हुआ ना मतलब ज़्यादा.
ऊपर गए होंगे थोड़े तो Thursday को. I was not in office तो मुझे
नहीं सर उतना कुछ
नहीं था.
Frankly, banks पे नहीं था.
But how does it impact?
It does, right? Because your cost of funds comes down.
For only external borrowings, right? In that sense.
Yes, for all your external borrowings, but that eventually adds up. No, sorry, it goes down to even your deposit rates coming down slightly. So all of that adds up.
So which are the banks which have good overseas exposure?
But some of that also translates to lending rates, therefore, and your lending rates will also fall eventually. I mean, this is a slow process, of course, but
lending भी वैसे भी करना है.
वैसे भी करना है, but I'm saying इसके वजह से भी शायद से you might see banks and in financial institutions pass this on. NBFCs are better placed because their lending rates are also slightly more inelastic in certain segments and sectors. Like for example, जब तुम refrigerator खरीदने जाते हो, 12% is the rate. You wouldn't mind paying 11.75 or 12. That will not change your decision to buy or to take a loan, and therefore those rates are slightly more inelastic, whereas your housing rates and gold rates are slightly more elastic in that sense. So that's the way, and that's probably why some of the financials are buzzing today. Something like a Bajaj Finance was up at least in the
Yeah.
morning. I don't know what it is.
So we had a couple of questions, Niraj.
Hmm.
There's a trending goal which is asking, who is asking basically, Suzlon क्यों गिर रहा है?
Uh, I don't know if it's got to do with the CFO moving on, because per se the results etc. seemed okay. The outlook also seemed okay. But Inox Wind numbers
Himanshu
were a
Modi,
bit weak as
Himanshu
well.
Modi, na?
Yeah, so I wonder if since both the leading players have had a tough intake, the street
The quarterly intake of orders has slowed down in Q1 for both of them actually. Suzlon and Inox Wind both.
देखो देखने जैसे है, because मैंने देखा ये Inox Wind के जो रिजल्ट आए उसमें couple of brokerages have reduced the execution guidance for FY26 and 27. FY27 को 1.8 gigs कर दिया, जबकि 15 दिन पहले 20 दिन पहले when we spoke to Devansh Jain, he reiterated कि भाई 2 gigs तो करेगा ही करेगा. It'll be interesting, but I wonder if it's got to do with this thing that दोनों के results में some chinks in the armor. In Sultan's case, the CFO has also gone out, so that's why. But their execution seemed okay, so I wonder if this is a dip that people might use to buy. Maybe.
There is one
यूग्रो के लिए
यूग्रो के लिए
पूछा है कि भाई क्यों गिर रहा है यूग्रो, लेके आओ उसको.
लेके आएंगे
नया
उसको,
CEO आ गया,
fund management.
नया CEO आ गया.
यूग्रो में
Yeah, but it's not like the promoter stroke original CEO has gone out. No, he's
Yeah, he's
just
still there.
taking
He's
a-
now
yeah,
he's bumped up.
he's bumped himself up. So yeah, I mean technically, I don't think there's much of a change per se. There's no management change as one can call it. It's only more
cost added up.
cost, maybe more cost added up, but also more experience brought in. So two ways to see this. I mean, for the life of me, I'm not fully understanding as to why this isn't been given the valuation that some of the other NBFCs are given. This is trading at sub one-time book. Maybe to some extent there's a skepticism that there's been this large acquisition that has come. Also, with regard to their fundraising, there were a few jitters. So all of that understood. But at 0.9 times price to book, or maybe sub 0.9 times, I'm not able to fathom as to why such a large discount to some of the other high growth NBFCs. And of course, one has to try and continuously engage with management and understand as to why that is so. But essentially, it's a bit of a misnomer that is currently being seen, at least for this one in particular. क्योंकि यार ऐसा कुछ बड़ा asset quality issue ऐसा कुछ दिख नहीं रहा है, at least not on the numbers. So yes, maybe some corporate governance issue from an investor perspective,
I think
understandable.
but the
to
same
say
investors who had invested earlier have come back and invested through a
correct, but at a lower
low
valuation. And they've allowed forfeiture of the 25% which they had originally subscribed to. So some of those things do put question marks, right? But at the same time, such a large discount is, I mean, one needs to really understand as to why it trades at that.
MPGN has a question why
Investors also wait and look at that aspect, right? The investors coming at a lower valuation, because I was just reading on Vikram Solar, it's big IPO coming this week, 2,000 crores. It's coming at roughly about, I think 300K आसपास आ रहा है. But some investors got into the company last year at 122 rupees. So I think it's I've seen everybody highlight that, they've come in at lower price last year, and this year of course they are increasing the capacity multi-fold.
नहीं मल्टीपोर्ट नहीं अगले 2 साल तक नहीं होने वाला वो कैपेसिटी
No, so 4.5 gigawatt they're going to
4 plus
by
4
FY26 is what they've said.
by
They'll go to
26
15.
in तक वो 4 plus 4 आएगा cells and modules दोनों मिला के and the phase 2
eventual
of
plan is to go
module
till-
of 4 another coming by the end of 26 calendar year 26. So FY28 is when they actually have that thing which comes into play. But so जो 14% का उनका जो margin है, they might can go up to 18 to 20%. Next to 22% is what they're looking at. That can go up to that. So that's that's something which will happen only in 28. So I think valuation wise is pretty okay for because 19 को खुल रहा है ना
कल को रहा है. It's a pretty big week for IPOs.
IPOs
5 IPOs.
five large IPOs are
couple
coming.
of good listings also. Tomorrow also I think the jewelry company, I keep forgetting the name, the Bluestone. Bluestone, yes. I think Regal is the next day, but very interesting.
Yeah, but Bluestone is also something like you have Carrot Lane,
Yes.
something similar to Carrot Lane, which is there, but it's a little loss making in that sense.
Hmm.
So that's something. There's a question for Niraj. Niraj has just stepped out. Could it be a case that India agreed to let US threaten it with secondary tariff to pressure Russia in lieu of 12 to 13% tariff rate?
Hmm.
ये तो मतलब
anybody's guess, yaar. अभी ये,
I don't think
I
it's
don't
going to
know.
be that. Means
Yeah.
you don't do that with a friend who has stood by you, right?
No, but it's anybody's guess. It could well be the case also. No, अभी behind closed doors क्या होता है क्या मतलब
That's true, but
we
what
don't
is
know what will take place.
disappointing is the US trade delegation, which is supposed to come on August 25th, has cancelled the trip, right?
Hmm.
August 25th to 29th. So that's a negative. And what US is now saying, and what I was looking at one of the interviews of Marco Rubio. He was, and there was a question posed to him saying that you're trying, will you going to put secondary sanction on China? He said no, we are not going to, because our European partners have said that will lead to escalation in oil prices. So the question was then, why did you put on India? Simple as that. And he didn't have an answer, didn't have a justifiable answer for that. So the question is very simple. That of course, there's a power politics which is at play here between India and US, and India is taking a firm stand, and US wants a free walk, which is not going to happen. So let's see how it's going to play out. But August 27th is something, and we have 50%, and that's going to be. We need to see whether Trump withdraws the additional 25% or not. And that depends on today's meeting and maybe a couple of more meetings which are in the run up to it. By the way, there's a Jackson Hole meet also which is expected. So you have the Fed speaking there.
I to stand by what I feel. I think the impact is going to be small. Yes, there'll be certain companies which will get impacted.
Export oriented companies
But,
to
yeah.
the US basically.
Yeah, but outside of that, overall impact on India, I think largely is going to be small. What's your sense on this, yeah? Sorry, I'm sure that you all discussed it and maybe I missed it.
On GST.
On GST.
We spoke
Q2 will
about it at
likely
length, and they were role playing actually. He was buying a car and one was selling the car. And
So how did that go? Did you buy?
Yes, I did buy.
he
You
did
did
buy.
buy?
He did buy.
The larger
But I would
object,
say I wouldn't buy.
yeah, of
Why
course.
would I buy? I mean,
But how would I buy?
The
Exactly.
larger
I mean,
object
different.
is that most
नीरज
auto
का कहना
companies
था
do
कि
that.
मैं ज्यादा डिस्काउंट दूंगा तो
Yeah,
लोग खरीद लेंगे.
most auto companies
so they'll
were
upfront the discounts.
yes, largely because they know that they have to sustain their market.
Yeah,
They
that's
know,
an interesting point.
and these guys have been in the industry for so long. You've seen
Fair.
so many cycles.
Consumer sentiment, as you yourself started the thing saying that rentals have gone up,
Yes,
cash positions or household cash has come down.
come down. Yes.
Discounts or accessories are not the things which are going to guide.
No, I think
If they're able to get the
additional
same
income,
same
right?
car at a lower rate,
Yes.
I'm fine with it. Basic accessories, and I'll add accessories as and when I require. Why should I? I'll. You're talking about average age of a car is what 7 to 10 years for
Yeah.
a middle class person, right? Or 5 to 7, whatever you want to put it. I that's 30, 40,000. I'll spread over 7 years, na? Why will I do it now?
So my thing is largely within what we see in consumers also the preference for compact SUVs from small cars.
True,
So
I
the
totally agree with you.
so the premiumization factor is there even at the lowest end of the bargain as well. So when you're offering incentives via accessories apart from cash discount as well, we might see that
Only
consumer who might be
it
just
works.
on the verge.
It works in the urban market, but in
Yes.
semi-urban and
But
rural
that
market
market is
doesn't
much
happen.
weaker now na, compared to rural.
In semi,
Rural is actually growing faster than
exactly.
urban, and that's when they wanted to
That's
come back.
that's why rural and semi-urban में उतना डिस्काउंट नहीं होगा
Hmm.
और लोग उतना नहीं डिस्काउंट के लिए फॉल नहीं करेंगे जैसे अर्बन में गिरते
But
हैं.
within urban, you want these compact cars to come back. They've just been
No,
degrowing.
we want all those cars to
All
come
to
back.
come back. But,
But
we see that SUV still there is the preference. The smaller car has to come back in this time and that way.
Sorry, maybe we've been very repetitive here because of me. I have disrupted the conversation.
Yeah.
But do you feel, and Puneet, you also feel free to chime in, do you feel that this is a little too late where the economy is concerned, that you've already seen the economy real under pressure for a prolonged period of time? Now to reboot it will take some bit of more time, even though attempts are genuine.
see, we saw in February a tax cut happening effective April. That put in for an average person 8,000 rupees in their hands per month. Okay. followed by in the next 1 or 2 months, May or June, you have those rate cuts coming, which came in of 250 basis points. That brought in additional 1,200 rupees, 1,000, 2,000 rupees, 1,000 put
At the lower end.
at the lower end, 1,000 rupees per month additional in the income, right? Now you're talking about a GST cut, which will happen, say in September end. That will add roughly around another 1,000 to 1,500 rupees per household in the thing. So in total, you're trying to give a 10,000 rupees thing to the household to spend it. The question is whether the household is willing to spend or not. The question is whether over a period of time the inflation, especially living
Correct.
index, which has gone up so drastically in urban markets,
Correct.
will that you know will that allow them to spend the entire thing? And if they're not spending, where are they going to spend? So my answer is that capital markets is the one, right? Asset managers, mutual funds, these are the
You've
places
been
where
saying that for a while, sir.
they are the ones who are going to
You have a view?
and they're the
Sorry?
ones which you and I'm seeing that numbers happening in April, May, June, July of mutual funds, SIPs which have gone
Yeah,
going,
fair, fair.
going
Yeah,
up,
it's gone
okay,
up, yes.
gone up. So that flow of money is going there. So if they're not spending, they're investing in financial instruments.
Yes.
And at the same time, and you can correct me, bank FDs or bank deposits are also going up.
Yes, they are.
They are. Where is it additional coming
Yeah,
from?
the liquidity is
Liquidity
coming.
is coming from there, right? The savings is coming and getting channeled. If I'm very conservative, I'll put it in FD. If I'm little more risky, I'll put it in a mutual fund
Yes.
or an SIP. Simple as that. So that's what is happening. It's not going to consumption. That's the core issue. आप पैसा जितना भी हाथ में दे दो, जब तक मुझे अपना फ्यूचर वो एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं देता कि मेरा फ्यूचर expectation is much better than what is currently there, which RBI has done beautifully in that monetary policy. They put out two charts, which is on current scenario, where 100 means that you are okay, and below 100 is your low, your expectation is lower. Current is 96.5, and future is 101. So it's not so expensive, which is there. So that's something. So my point is that it's that those are the things which are going to flow.
Sir is back.
Sir is back.
What happened?
कुछ
Sorry.
parting words तो ऐसे तो live अच्छे से end करना है such a big day आप ऐसे भागो मत.
हाँ
We should end it
सर,
well. One
किसका
key
फोन आया था
comment.
जिसके लिए आपको जाना पड़ा अर्जेंट?
There's somebody who came in to give something in all of these rains. Completely drenched. So it was only natural that I should do.
So, sorry, we were having a conversation around the fact that is it a little too late with regard to all of the measures that are being taken with regard to GST to add zing to the economy?
No.
Are we a bit late or not?
Sajeet ने बोला ना late है.
नहीं, मैंने नहीं बोला.
Sir, मैंने नहीं बोला. मैंने समझ. But I posed it to the right person.
But I didn't say yes to it.
No,
मैं तो
you
आपको
didn't
बुला रहा था अंदर से.
say. दूसरा सवाल, I don't know if we've explored this with him.
No,
GST
so should
rates
we have
going
done this earlier? Yes, but it's okay. It's never too late. It's
Yeah.
okay.
हम 2 साल से कोशिश
GST
कर रहे हैं GST करने की.
GST rates going down. Will car makers likely, maybe not immediately, but maybe over a quarter or two, actually hike prices and equalize some of that discount that is being inherited?
I think right
Car
now.
makers don't suffer from it, no?
Yeah.
No.
You are saying they'll get more pricing.
Just increase their prices to. Sir, say for example, you're buying a 30 lakh rupee car. Sorry, too low for you, but and you're getting a 10% discount now, right? So maybe the car makers give that 10% discount to you right away, right? Which spurs demand in the near term. But maybe by January, they unwind some of that discount and say
थोड़ा
that.
government देखेगी यार ये क्या ऐसे मत करो. Don't be. But obviously next year they will increase some prices because
I think
that's
the January cycle of pricing hike will
और
cut
यार
some.
10% नहीं हो.
इसलिए मैं January बोल रहा हूँ.
It's January
That's
3,
1-2%
but some of
होता है
that-
ना.
अभी हिस्सा 3-4 हुआ था बस, but I think that's just
But
largely.
Puneet, there's a
It's
question
also
for
adds
you.
to the margins, no sir. So that is
IT.
also a positive. From an investor perspective, it's positive because it adds to the margins of car makers.
In this
Yeah.
bullish market, why is
But
IT down?
I feel demand has been quite.
Tell me.
नहीं फिलहाल तो यार today the people will pivot towards the beneficiaries ना.
Yes.
आज तो इवेंट खेलेंगे लोग. अगर खेलना है तो वो भी.
Yeah.
वैसे भी नीचे आ गया ना मार्केट भी थोड़ा.
24,900 के नीचे.
Yeah.
आपको लगता है कि हम 25,000 तक क्लोज करेंगे आज?
आज पता है. अभी तो ट्रेंड देख के तो लग रहा है नहीं होगा.
हाँ.
But is this net positive? I think so. But maybe Sandeep Tandon, who is usually was saying that yeah, अच्छा है चलो, lot of other things need to happen.
Yeah.
But to my mind, has this done? Has this tried to do what should be done? Answer is yes.
Yes.
And
You had a growth issue in India. You're trying to attack that growth issue in all ways possible. RBI
Do
ने
you
किया,
think-
government किया, सब कुछ है.
Hmm.
Whether it plays out
do
or
you,
not, let's
do
see.
you think this entire thing of growth, which we are talking about, uh, will be more beneficial to mid cap and small cap companies rather than large cap companies?
Autos में तो large cap
today,
कोई फायदा नहीं.
today we are seeing the mid cap doing
Autos
very
में
well.
large cap, EMS में mid
Mid-caps
caps
and small-
वालों को, and I think it's across the board because we're seeing that benefit across all players. And just two wheelers, we're seeing that benefit, and Eicher, as I mentioned, and four wheelers, we're seeing Mahindra also. Mahindra doesn't have presence in the smaller car segment, but unka compact SUV is going to do much better. That's the hope, and they also might be reacting on the launches that they've done over the weekend and everything. But I think largely it is, of course, bullish and optimistic across these sectors. Yes.
Final word, sir.
नहीं कुछ नहीं सब बट ठीक है मतलब the move is right. How much of an effect comes in, let's see. और देखो भैया गणेश चतुर्थी के पहले एक साल वो हो गया. Let's see what happens.
I think over the weekend there's a very good blog which Morgan Housel had written, and very interestingly he said that pessimism always sounds smarter than optimism because optimism sounds like a sales pitch, while pessimism sounds someone trying to help you.
We just saw the sales
We
pitch.
just it's very convenient. But that was yeah. I'm very
भाभी जी को
नहीं कैसे रिक्शा में कैसे घुमा सकते. But yes, that's all the time we have on this one. Thanks so much for joining in. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the likes. We'll see you next time.
Puneet has taken to this like fish to water now.